Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Tyler Stratton from Stratton Sports. The NFL offseason is upon us. The combine is going on right now, and it's going to be an absolutely crazy 2020 quarterback carousel. And today we're going to look at four teams, the Bengals, Dolphins, Colts, and Chargers, who really need to address their quarterback situation more than any other teams in the NFL. We're going to break it down, and we're going to do it right now. This is Stratton Sports. So when you look at the four teams, starting with the Dolphins have not truly had a starting quarterback since Dan Marino. The Ryan Tannehill era was marred by injuries, inconsistency was with head coaching and offensive coordinators. The Dolphins fan base is desperate for a quarterback to get behind, and I cannot wait to see what they do in the NFL draft. You know, the Dolphins have been linked to Tua since they traded away pretty much their whole team last year and started the tank that resulted in them winning 5 games because they have a hell of a coach. Now, the Dolphins absolutely desperately need a quarterback, and I don't think they can wait till next year's draft to do it. You got to act now. Now, I know there are concerns with Tua, and there are huge concerns with both ankles and the hip surgery, and he's only 22 years old, I believe. That's a huge risk, but the upside is so large. You know, he's been regarded as one of the best prospects by Todd McShay and Mel Kiper. The dude has all the talent in the world, and if he didn't get injured, he might be the number 1 pick by the Cincinnati Bengals. So what do the Dolphins do here with the injury concerns with Tua? They have all the draft capital in the world needed if they want to trade up to make sure they get their guy. Because if they set back at number 5, you got the Chargers right behind them at 6, and the Colts in the early teens. They both could possibly move up and get Herbert/Tua. You have to act. You can't mess around. You can't wait till next year. Draft your quarterback of the future now, whether that be Justin Herbert, whether that be Tua. And you're going to have to do it with either the Redskins at number 2, which I doubt they'll move, or the Lions at number 3. The Lions have hinted about taking a quarterback. I just don't see it. Matt Stafford's still on the team. He's 32 years old. I think the Lions are bluffing when they say they're going to take a quarterback just so they can accumulate some picks in this draft. I trade up to number 3, and I get my guy. And then you look at the Indianapolis Colts. You know, Andrew Luck kind of stunned the sports and NFL world, announcing his retirement before the season, left them in a very tough position. Now they need a quarterback. Jacoby Brissett did not look good in the second half of the season, looked really bad in the fourth quarter of games, and did not have that big playability. And this is tricky, man. I cannot get a read what this team's going to do. I can make a prediction, but I just have no clue. They need a quarterback, but I think the big 3 are going to be gone. Burrow, Tua, Herbert, not going to be there. Could the Colts possibly move up to number 5 after the Dolphins move up to 3? The Lions, Wheelan, and Dillon even get more picks. That's a possibility. They've been linked, to Phillip Rivers in the offseason. 38 years old, but has history with Frank Reich. Could it work? Possibly. Tom Brady's been linked. That's not going to happen because the fans would have his head on a stick by the time he landed in Indianapolis International Airport. I look at a guy like Teddy Bridgewater as a possibility. 27 years old, 5-0 after Breeze goes down last year with the Saints, proven he can win games as a starter after he had that gruesome leg injury. That's a possibility, but he's going to come with a big price tag. Maybe they do bring Rivers in and draft Jordan Love. Jordan Love, quarterback from Utah State, not a sexy name, not a sexy school. He can make the throws. He's 6'4", 225. He's got the measurables. He can throw the football. He hasn't played big-time competition. Do they bring Phillip Rivers in and develop Love for a couple years? To me, that makes the most sense because Rivers probably has 2 years left. Teddy Bridgewater is going to cost too much money. Brady's head would be on a stick, and Cam Newton, not going to happen. So I'm bringing in Rivers for 2 years. I'm drafting Love, and I'm moving on from there because they got a great offensive line right now, a solid running game, good weapons on defense. Bring in a veteran who knows the head coach, and let's see what happens. Then you look at the Chargers. Phillip Rivers never got behind the move to Los Angeles. He never did believe in it. He's a free agent. He's 38. He's heading elsewhere. Now the Chargers have to find a quarterback, whether that be free agency or the NFL draft. I think they end up with either Tua or Justin Herbert, whoever the Dolphins don't take. The bottom line is the Dolphins have the most draft capital. They will not be outbid in this NFL draft. Set back at number 6 and take the consolation prize, whether that be Tua or Justin Herbert, because the Dolphins are going going to trade up, in my opinion. I just can't see Tom Brady leaving New England. There's no way I believe that's going to happen. So you look at the Chargers, you take a quarterback at number 6, you set still, you don't have to give up any draft capital, and you get a very solid consolation prize in either Tua or Justin Herbert. And then you look at the Bengals, they have a quarterback-driven head coach. It's time to move on to a new era. This one's easy to me. This one is so easy. Don't overthink it. Don't even entertain anything else than taking Joe Burrow. You have the number 1 pick. You're a terrible team. You have a quarterback-driven coach. Just draft Joe Burrow and call it a day. I think all this talk about Joe Burrow having leverage and all that, I think that's nonsense. I don't see him as being a guy who's going to pull an Eli Manning like he did in 2004, so he wouldn't have to play for the Chargers. He went to the Giants ultimately, and if the Bengals muck this up, that would be so typical of them. Draft Joe Burrow and be done with it. Hey everyone, that wraps up my video on the 4 teams that need a quarterback and what's going to be an absolutely wild quarterback offseason in the NFL. As always, do not forget to like, hit that subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think these 4 teams are going to do. I'll be back to talk much more sports in the next coming days. Until now, this is your boy, Tyler Stratton saying, so long.